O okay, here is another video featuring Dark Souls PvP, this time using a new build I created with the Estoc, and I'm trying it out in the Burg. Recorded all of these fights tonight. This is on a 40-40 build, 40 strength, dexterity, and vitality with 40 forward endurance. I think I started out as the bandit class, but everything else is unchanged. So, haven't always, I guess for some time now, I haven't been a huge fan of the Sunlight Dark Moon Blade buffs, but I've taken a real liking to the Rotten Pine Resin. I realized that charcoal pine resin does so little extra damage, and gold pine resin is kind of difficult to get sometimes, so rotten pine resin is perfect, especially because it's used on a relatively fast hitting weapon that can hit from behind a shield. I had actually never used, or rarely used, the Estoc before. I used it in PvE on a dexterity build in the past. But I always thought the damage was really weak on it, but then I realized it is kind of a quality build weapon in a sense. So decided to give it a try, and the damage is okay. I'd been using the barbed straight sword a little bit, because I remember I was hitting no more than 5 to 6 cost, and it's like that needs to change. So here it's critical damage is good, but it doesn't rely on it like a normal rapier, I wouldn't say. So I'm using the rotten pine. I had actually never used any kind of rapier other than this before, and I was watching some stream the other night, I can't remember which one, and I saw a lot of these guys poking from behind a shield once they get into red tearstone range, and it, kind of got me thinking maybe I should try that, because I never had before. So we got the large club here, which naturally has poison, and buffing it with the rotten pine resin makes it pretty much a 1 or 2 hit. You're gonna get poisoned even through a shield, but it does do a crazy amount of backstab damage because it is a powerful strength weapon. So I invaded, like I said, all of this was recorded in one night over the course of probably 2 hours, so I invaded the same people a number of times. 9-7 per boss, that's very atypical for what I'm used to. In a way, I kind of miss that this weapon doesn't actually have a real kick, because the kick on this can be parried. It actually, at some point in these videos, is. And not so much for breaking card, but almost for countering parries. Or parry attempts, anyway. So, yeah, I really didn't know what was going on in this one. Just kind of... So that is the kick attack. I believe it does as much damage as a regular hit, but it can't deflect off of shields as a regular hit can. Even two-handed, I think a rapier bounces off a great shield. You do get that stun effect. See, I'm honestly surprised that I didn't get backstabbed there, because I don't know if it's the people I've been playing against or maybe it's me, but I've been getting sucked into backstabbing all sometime now. So I figured that guy, be best to pull out the Shotel, but I wasn't entirely sure where it was. Because it did just make this build probably yesterday or the day before. So once he pulls out a Sunlight Blade on a Falchion, I do not want to fight that fair. So Great Combustion came out. Shotel does not the best damage for a dexterity weapon, but it can cut through shields, and I mean, that's what it's used for primarily. And so I saw a guy with the Gargoyle's Tail Axe, which the one-handed R1, if it connects, has a really fast swing speed, and I've used it in the past, but the moveset is so limited, and it's not. See, that kind of damage through Havels is just crazy. Then again, Havels has horrible poison resistance. Just absolutely awful. So at this point, I was more trying to inflict him with poison than anything else. But so here we are invading. Which one was this? Yeah, I actually fought this guy a few times. I thought he was gonna backstab me at that point, and I got kind of freaked out. So yeah, like I said, I've been using the rotten pine resin for these fights. Not because the poison does a huge amount of damage, but I don't know, I felt it added something. And I believe that's a Chaos or a Fire Claymore. So there, I figured he was going to swing right then. Unlike in Demon Souls, the Estoc does have a slashing, slicing attack, and I do like it. It can, I believe, dead angle, but it has some range, some lateral range, and I like that a lot. And the fact that it can chain together is definitely a nice feature. So here's the same guy for round 2. Gold pine resin looks the best. I wish, well, I mean, not for practical reasons, but I kind of wish lightning weapons looked like that. So, once again, Katana, two-handed R1 spam. I was thinking I didn't want to just keep poking him. I like to add in some kind of variety, because what happens? Not happening. What happens a lot of times with people who use rapiers and thrusting swords in general don't use regular, R1 and R2 attacks, or I guess L1 if it's in the left hand, but because the criticals really are where the damage of that weapon comes out, and I try to use as much of the moveset as possible. So this guy, the trick to fighting great bows is just to keep your shield up. So he's wearing nothing but Havels, and the rest of him is naked, so very low poison resistance. So it was at this point I was thinking maybe I'll just be able to hide in the corner and turtle poke him, and I thought I could get a backstab there, but I couldn't. And I didn't realize that I was being ganked into the corner where there's just no way out. I don't think there's anything I could have done there. So he puts on the symbol of avarice, which I used to think was just them trying to be all cocky and show off things, but it does increase the number of souls you get from any kill, which also increases the number of souls you get for killing an invader. So that's probably what he's going for there. This guy... Regeneration miracles, I feel, are underused, but against a rapier here, it's ugly, because any one of my pokes, I mean, does 10 seconds of recovery in damage, and that's so little. So, like most people who use a rapier, he has the hornet, along with a great sword, because that's... I don't know exactly how he hit me, because he didn't attack at all. He was in the middle of the attack, so I don't know how he canceled the backstab, but looking at the numbers, that should have killed him had it actually gone through, but so that worked out. So, Wrath of the Gods, and... So, Wrath of the Gods for a decent amount of damage through over 300 magic defense. And he's using the Velka's Rapier, meaning he's some kind of faith mage with really high endurance, so I imagine he's a pretty decent level. Dragon form is the kind of guy you poison and bleed, because he has the same stats as So, behind a shield, a rapier is especially effective, because what it does is drain my stamina rather than instantly stun me. It could put me into the stunned state where I'm out of stamina, but it's trying to parry with the walking pole. So can't remember if this is the one I had to wait around. Yeah, this is the one I had to wait around a while for. So, going over the topic of this build as is, I've got the Dingy Hood and my favorite poiseless light armor chest piece, the Dingy Robe, or the Dingy Top, the Gauntlets of Thorns in an effort to roll and cancel backstabs, and the Cleric leggings, because I had, I want to say the Katarina leggings for their 13 poise, so that with the Wolf Ring it would be the 53 breakpoint, but I did put on the armor, or the Gauntlets of Thorns, and as a result, I was able to get away with just the highest possible defense in a legging piece, so the Cleric leggings. So I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually use Acid Surge. Ever. I mean, it's not anything like the Scraping Spear. I've been playing a good amount more Demon Souls lately. So, Hornet backstab there for 641 with Gaetana. Looks like that guy either has the Grass Crest shield, or or Elemental Katana. And that's a little trick that a lot of people use. I don't believe that was intentional, but with heavy weapons, if you hit a wall or a corner, you instantly recover, and they use that to effectively shorten the recovery time of a really heavy weapon. You know, people use it with, say, the Dragon Greatsword and another Hornet backstab. So. Just making it clear I wanted him to be able to heal. And here we go with the Green Blossom, which isn't always necessary, but I figure it doesn't hurt anything, and I don't like going for too many backstabs, especially on a build that has a backstab potent weapon. I mean, if you're looking at the longsword or the barbed stray sword, for example, to do 500 damage, I don't feel too bad about getting even, you know, when I get 2 of those in a fight, it's not instantly game winning, but this, there isn't a lot of way around it, so I don't like getting too many, but if he's putting 2 parries back to back, then... So, this is the guys I found in the Burg. I ended up fighting this guy 4 times. I beat him the 4th, but I wasn't. I was watching a stream at the time in between games, and it caused my laptop to crash, or at least X out of the capture recording thing. But he got me. So I'm wondering what hit me there. Clearly there wasn't anything actually on the screen, but he's pretty proud of it, so... I did put the fights together. These actually have been closer to the beginning of the little session, but... I figured he was going to flask again, and I, as an invader, it's my responsibility to stop him. I shouldn't expect him, especially using nothing, not a single attack, but dark magic and backstabs, to... He just had too many casts. Well, what is it? And I think I recognized that it was him, and figured that the only way to actually get him was probably the Hornet, but he kind of beat me to backstab, I guess. And somehow, in walking into his pursuer, that canceled the backstab, so I guess that's okay. Shrugging over there, because... point I was just kind of shooting arrows, not really aiming at him much at all. So, lag of pursuers, none of them actually hit me, except for potentially one that takes out half of my health or 300 magic defense. Which... And special treat. The only hacker I faced tonight. Not an infinite health hacker, per se, but... Keep in mind that this is a 1590 health. It's 40 vitality with the favor and protection ring. So, I treat these as random invasions, at least, because there's no established. I don't believe in the bow and how it's supposed to mean that there's something that's formal, because the same guys that. That's the most satisfying thing. And I saw a guy in the 935, and it wasn't even a third of his health, and I just was like, this is not good at all. So, that's why I can say that it's hacked, as well as look at this Crystal Greatsword hit. I've used the Crystal Greatsword, and that is by no means the damage that it does. So, I don't believe in bowing in that the same guy who's going to spam dark magic and hack and everything else is going to be the one to bow, and I think that shows nothing of respect. It's just showing that they think that they won fairly. And here is the exciting conclusion. Yeah, that's PvP in the Burg. And that's all.